So now we're going to answer the checkpoint exam for Module 11 to Module 13. So for the question 1, what three blocks of addresses are defined by RFC 1918 for private network use? I chose 172.116.0.0/12 and 192.168.0.0/16 and 10.0.0.0/8. For the next question, how many host addresses are available on the network 172.168.16.128.0 with subnet mask of 255.255.252.0? I answered 1022. Next, a site administrator has been told that a particular network at a site must accommodate 126 hosts. Which subnet mask would be used that contains the required number of host bits? I answered 255.255.255.128. Next, a company has a network address of 192.168.1.64 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.192. The company wants to create two subnetworks that would contain 10 hosts and 18 hosts respectively. Which two networks would achieve that? Choose two. So I chose 192.168.1.96/28 and 192.168.1.64/27. Next, match a subnetwork to a host address that would be included within the subnetwork. So for the 192.168.1.64/27, I chose 192.168.1.68. And for the .32/27, I I chose 192.168.1.48. And for the 96/27, I chose 192.168.1.121. So moving on with the next question. A message is sent to all hosts on a remote network. Which type of message is it? Unicast, direct broadcast, limited broadcast, multicast. I think it's directed broadcast because a message is sent to all hosts on a remote network. So that's directed broadcast. Next, what is the usable number of host IP addresses on a network that has /26 mask? 16, 62, 64, 32. I think it's 62. Yeah. So with the question 8, refer to the exhibit. An administrator must send a message to everyone on a router A network. What is the broadcast address for network 172.16.16.0/22? Um, that would be, I think this one, 172.1.16.19.255. Because the network 172.16.16.0/22 has 22 bits in the network portion and 10 bits in the host portion. Converting the network address to binary yields a subnet mask of 255.255.252.0. The range of addresses in this network will end with the last address available before 172.16.20.0, which is the valid host addresses for this network range. From 17 to 16.16.1 is to 172.16.19.254. making the 172.16.19.255 the broadcast address. Match each IPv4 address to the appropriate address category. Uh, so for the 192.168.100.161/25, target is the host address. Meanwhile, the 203.0.113.100/24, the target is also host address. Meanwhile, the 172.110.12.64/28, its network address. And the 10.10.10.128/25, also a network address. And the 10.0.0.0.159/27 is for the broadcast address. And also 192.168.1.191/26 is for broadcast address too. A high school in New York, School A, is using video conferencing technology to establish student interactions with another high school, School B, in Russia. The video conferencing is conducted between two end devices through the internet. The network administrator of School A configures the end device with the IP address 209.165.201.10. The administrator sends a request for the IP address for the end device in School B, and the response is 192.168.25.10. Neither school is using VPN. The administrator knows immediately that this IP will not work. Why? I think it's because the IP address 192.168, uh, the 225.10 is an IPv4 private address. Yes. How many bits must be borrowed from the host portion of an address to accommodate a router with 5 connected networks? Um, 4, 5, 3, 2, I think 3. What type of IPv6 address is FE80? Link local. What is the prefix for the host address to 2001 DV8? The network administrator has received the IPv6 prefix 2001 PB8 for subnetting, assuming the administrator does not subnet into the interface ID portion of the address space. How many subnets can the administrator create from the /48 prefix? With a network prefix of 48, there will be 16 bits available for subnetting because the interface ID starts at bit 64. 16 bits will yield to 65536 subnets. Which address is valid IPv6? Link local unicast address. Probably this one. What are two types of IPv6 unicast addresses? Choose two. Multicast no, broadcast no, loopback unicast no, loopback yes, link local. Yeah, because these three is type of IPv6 addresses, and these two are the unicast addresses. Next, which of these addresses is the shortest abbreviation? Abbreviation for the IP address 3FFE 1044 00AD. I think it's 3FFE 1044 0.0 AB and then 57. So this one. This will be 00, then AB, then 57. Which IPv6 prefix is reserved for communication between devices on the same link? Um, IPv6 link local unicast addresses are in the FE80/10 prefix range and are not routable. They are only used for communications between devices on the same link. So match the IPv6 address with the IPv6 address type. So this one, 2001 DB8 BAF is for global unicast. Then FF02 is for all node multicast. Then 0 for the 1, that's for a loopback. And FF021 is for solicited node multicast. Oh, I think I got it wrong. FF021 is for all node multicast, while FF02 is for solicited node multicast. An IPv6 enabled device sends a data packet. The data packet with destination address of FF021. What is the target of this packet? The target of this packet are all the IPv6 enabled devices on the local link or network. What is used in the EUI64 process to create an IPv6 interface? ID on IPv6 enabled interface. So the EUI64 process uses the MAC address of an interface to construct an interface ID because the MAC address is only 48 bits in length. 16 additional bits must be added to the MAC address to create the full 64 interference ID. And given the IPv6 address prefix 2001 DB8 slash 48, uh, what will be the last subnet that is created of the subnet prefix is changed to slash 52. So since this is slash 48, I think it will just change to 2001 DB8 0F, then 3 zeros, then slash 52. Which protocol supports stateless address auto-configuration um, for dynamic assignment of IPv6 addresses to a host? ICMPv6 UDP, think this one. Refer to the exhibit. An administrator is trying to troubleshoot connectivity between PC1 and PC2 and uses reset command from PC1 to do it. Based on the displayed output, where should the administrator begin troubleshooting? So the tracer is used to trace the path the packet takes. The only successful response was from the first device along the path on the same LAN as the sending host. So the first device is the default gateway on router R1. The administrator should therefore start troubleshooting at R1. So which protocol is used by traceroute command to send and receive to send and receive echo requests and echo replies. The tree suite uses ICMP to send and receive echo requests and echo replies. A technician uses the ping 127.0.0.1 command. What is the technician testing? So this ping command, which means that the technician is testing the TCP or IP stack on a network host. So what is the prefix length notation for the subnet mask 255.255.255.255.4 224? I think it's /27 because the prefix length is the number of consecutive ones in the subnet mask. Therefore, the prefix length is /27. So for the PT activity, perform the task. What are the three IPv6 addresses displayed when the route from PC1 to PC2 is traced? One BB8 1.2.1 and 1.1.3.2. Match each description with the appropriate IP address. So for the private address, I think it's 172.19.20.5. And for the testnet address is for 192.0.2.123. And for the experimental address is for 240.2.6.255. And for the link local address, it's for 169.254. And for the loopback, it's the 127.00.0.0.1. So let's double check the answers. Private address 172. Testnet address 192. An experimental address 240. And link local address is 169. And then loopback address is 127. Which subnet would include the address 192.168.1 as a usable host address? So the subnet that will include the address 192.168.1.96 as a usable host address would be 192.168.1.64/26. A host is transmitting a multicast. Which host or host will receive it? So if a host is transmitting a multicast, all hosts in the same subnet would be Oh, it's a multicast. My bad. So for a multicast, a specific defined group of hosts will receive the multicast transmitted. Which is the compressed format of IPv6 address. Uh, FEAT. I think it would be FEAT, FEAT 220, FEAT 220. That's because FEAT and then all of these are zero. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. So going back, FE0, FE80, then all these are zero, so we don't need this. And then the next number is 220, so that's why the answer is FE80 220, then B3F, then F0E0, then 29. Wait, let's double check it again. And that's correct. So last question, a user uses a ping 10.10, 10.10.14.64 as this code represent. So it's 10.10.14.64. It would be network unreachable. Okay, so that's it for the checkpoint exam for modules 11 to 13. Thank you.